Hello and welcome. My name is Kat and this is Mini Maysie Makes. I just noticed that I was going over reviewing everything ready to post a video and I didn't do any type of intro to it, so I thought I'd just pop on here and say hi. And this is basically bits and pieces that I've done this week to get things ticking over. I've planning on doing a few markets I think in February, I'm hoping to anyway, but in preparation for things like that, and also with the shelf going up at the collective in the garden centre, I've got a lot of stuff going on at the moment. So this last week I've been trying to make bits and pieces and finish off some stuff that I hadn't finished off before, so that next week I can get on with labelling things up ready for the collective. I've also been working on the website as well, which has taken a lot of time, as these things always do. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of admin stuff this week. So bits of sewing, bits of admin. As you might be able to see in the background here, I had basted up one of the quilt tops that I finished in September. This one is beautiful. It is a elephant parade quilt. It's got this frog. It's so cute. And these are the elephants. Oh, I don't know if you can see it there. So there's the batting, and I've just gone with a plain grey back, light grey back, because the quilting I'm decided to do on this one is just to quilt round, currently, is just to quilt round each of the each of the animals separately. So that's just been quilted all the way round to make it stand out a little bit. The same will be happening on each of those, and then through the middle sections I'll probably put some lines. Normally I would just do straight line quilting if it was something that I'm looking to sell. This one I will be looking to sell, but I'll obviously have to charge a little bit more because it takes so much longer. I only managed to get, how many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4 on that row done yesterday, and that probably took, I don't know, an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, because you have to go round each and every tiny little bit. I'm using it on I'm doing a very low setting, speed setting on my machine. So yeah, it takes a little while for it to work, but that's one of the things I've been working on this week. So yeah, so I've been doing bits and pieces, finishing off the other quilt top that I'd started, basting this one. I will need to baste the other one. I was going to baste them both at the same time, but I didn't quite have enough pins. These are the pins that I used to baste. I don't know if you can see that. That is a, excuse my nails, that is a curved pin. Yeah, so I use those. So I always pin baste. I don't spray baste, just in case, you know, you never know. I mean, you can test it on fabric, but you're going to test it on every single piece of different types of fabric, particularly if you're using a different patchwork type quilt. There's lots, generally if you're using scraps for that type of thing, there's lots of different types of fabric. So you're going to test the spray on each of those? Probably not, because it takes so long. So plus it's a complete waste of spray, plus the spray's not great for the environment. So I pin based my quilts to get them up and running. Sorry if I'm looking a little bit fluffy looking. I've just been out in the garden. There's a storm happening today, Storm Erwin. We are not overly affected. The winds are kicked up. The fence panel came down, which is why I've had to go out into the garden to save my little dog from getting into next door's garden with their fence panels down. So yeah, so I'm hoping it will sort of skirt us by as we're in Kent, and seem to be a little bit lower and not as hit by it. But I feel for anyone that's gonna have to be dealing with these mad winds that are on their way. So fingers crossed we don't have too much aggro here, and that anyone else that is affected it's quite mild. I hope so for them anyway. Anyway, barring wind and rain and nasty weather, here are a few little bits and pieces of what I've got up to this week. I'm planning on making or finishing off the teapot Tilda quilt. I've needed to make 91 of the flying geese block, which is going to be bunting, which I think is super cute. So there are 7 rows of this that go in between each of the teapots. So the teapots are in 3 different blocks, 6 of 2 kind and 12 of the standard round teapot. So there is this shape, there's 6 of those, there's 6 of this shape, and as you can see, this is patchworked. So I wanted to have everyone a little bit different, so I've got 1 patchwork in this and in the other shape, and the rest are patterned solid like square blocks, and then I've got 6, I think, patchwork of the round ones. This is like a solid patterned round one in the middle there, and this one is a patchwork block in the middle. I don't follow the colours of the Tilda quilts. It's using Tilda fabric, and I don't have any, or find it hard to get hold of Tilda fabric here. So because I like to shop at my local store if I can, and it's very difficult to find that. So this is obviously patchwork, so I don't follow the instructions. I sort of make it up as I go along, basically, which is all part of quilting. And I've used, I think I've got, I don't know how many of each. I think there's 4 different colours of the tops of the round teapots. All of this shape all have silver lining, because it's more like a coffee pot, and then this one has blue, because I had no blue in the round one. So each line, there are 4 teapots on each line, so each row, so I'm hoping to make it a little bit different on each one, as there is 1 of each of those blocks, and 2 of the round teapots. So yeah, so what I'm needing to do with these now is add sashing down the sides, 1 side of each of this. It's not very thick. I think from memory it's 1 1/4 sashing, 1 1/4 I think, so not a lot. And then in between each of the rows of teapots is a row of bunting. So it's going to be super cute. I'm looking forward to getting that all together. I spent all weekend finishing off 12 of the blocks, so it's this shape and this shape. I'd already finished the round ones back in, I think, September, so I'm looking to get them done, and then I made all 91 of these as well in over the weekend. So yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. I finished them off yesterday, which was Monday. Later in the day I finished those off, just literally just ironing them flat on, because I'd done one side and I was just finishing the other side. So yeah, these are really easy to make as a block. So yeah, so I'm going to look forward to putting them all together, and I shall keep you updated on how it goes. You never know how these things pan out. It's quilting, so everything's different every time you do it. So here's hoping it works out okay. The thing is with these blocks is that they don't generally look okay when you finish them. You're like, oh, okay, that's okay. But once it's all together, it looks better. And then once it's all put together with the batting in the middle, with the backing on there, and it's all sort of together, and then you start quilting it. Once the quilting's the thing that does it. This itself is not quilting, it's sewing. That's what it is, sewing straight lines. So quilting is patchwork as well. It sits in the quilting banner, but again, it's just straight line sewing. So yeah, I really enjoy it. So let's hope that I continue to enjoy to make this quilt. I put it off for a long time to be able to get to this point, to get this quilt finished, because there's been so much going on. So I'm hoping that I can get it finished and get it done, and let's just see how we get on, and I'll keep you updated on my progress. Fingers crossed. So good morning. It's a whole new day. I managed to finish the teapot quilt and putting it all together yesterday. So pleased to finally get it done. It's been a long process, or much longer than what I normally would do, because I had such a big break from other things getting in the way. So yeah, I'm pleased to have finished it, and this is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. It's big. It's a big quilt. So as you can see, it's a big quilt. This is the pattern. It is a Tilda quilt pattern. I will link everything, all the patterns that I use will be linked down in the description box, so you can find that easily enough. But yeah, it's a lovely quilt. It just took me a while, just because of things, life basically getting in the way, but I'm really pleased to have got that done. It's not made with Tilda fabric. It's made with scraps, because I could, and so I did. And it's nice to use the scraps up, because there's lots of little bits that we all have, and this was a great way to use some of those pieces, so that's good. So I need to get that basted. Basted is when you sandwich everything together. So that is the backing, the batting, so the middle section, that gives it its loft, and then obviously the quilt top goes on top of that. You then, everyone has their own little way of doing it, but I use safety pins, curved safety pins, to safety pin them all together to keep that sandwich together, and then I put it through my burnet. And yeah, and that's my plan for that one. I also have a second quilt top that I need to get done, and that is, let me show you. This is this one. So a completely different style of quilt. So that one, I think, is called Elephants on Parade or something. It is traditionally pieced, which means it's like traditional patchwork. You just use the blocks. The eyes here and here are a different, and the mouth are a different way of creating those elements. So they're not patchworked into, they're stuck onto. So it's a different technique. It's called applique. and so you use like a heat and bond, which you put onto the back of the fabric, and then you sandwich them together, and then you take the backing off, and then you heat it onto that, and then you sew round it to make sure you keep all the raw edges in. And I'm never been a big fan. Personally, I prefer to foundation paper piece, which is a whole different way of quilting. It's doing paper, using paper as a stabilizer, because you tend to be using pretty small pieces. It also gives you the flexibility to do lots of little pieces to create real curves on things. So I'm a massive fan of foundation paper piecing. So a lot of my quilts have done that way. So these two are traditionally patchwork quilts, apart from the applique on the elephant one. So yeah, I really enjoy making any type of quilts. Foundation paper piecing is generally my favourite way to do quilting, but it does take a lot more time. There is a lot more effort involved. Paper has to be ripped out, and then little bits need to come out of the seams. It's quite time intensive, but the result is perfect nearly every time. So yeah, so with regards to the patterns on this, again, all of the patterns that I use across the board, whether in this video or in other videos, will all be noted down in the description below, or at least links to the designers' websites, so you can see them and get the details from there. So now I need to also do the same with this one. I need to base this one up too. I think I might do the elephant one first, because it was the first one that I did, so I'll get that basted up first. I have, for the backing on this one, the elephant quilt, I have got, I think I'm just going to go with the plain grey, which is the grey of the elephant, on the back of the quilt for that one. On this one, I've got some more of this really pretty pink to use up, but I've also got a little bit of this cream. I don't quite have enough of the pink to do the back, so I think I'm going to do a pieced backing. So the pieced backing is literally, you would have maybe like a strip of cream, so you'd have the pink, and then you'd have a strip of cream at the bottom, for example. You might do that just to make sure that you've got the length that you need. I think what I might actually do is, what I have left of the pink is to split in half, and then use the cream to make the middle section, so a little bit like a sandwich of colours. So yeah, so pink, cream, pink. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll see once I've got everything out and ironed, and then I'll see how I want to play around with it, see how much I've got of each, and then I'll run it through. And I think that will be quite nice on that one, because I have the width, because the both the cream and the pink were wide wide cotton. They were 60 wide. The average is 44 inches wide, but these ones were 60 wide. So I have the width for both of them, because the width on this one is 52. I can't remember the width. It's been a long time since I made this one, so I need to get that done. So yeah, it was nice to not have to piece the back for this one. I have enough of the grey to be able to cover the whole back, and I think that will look really nice, because I'm going to quilt. I think the plan is to quilt round each of the elephants, so that will be on the reverse as well. So there won't be the details, but there will be the shape. So I think that will look quite nice. So yeah, that's my plan. I think I would really like to get both of them basted today. It's Saturday, hopefully I can get both of them basted today. I'll at least get one basted today. I suspect it will be the elephant one. It's very likely that I'll baste it up and go, oh, let's get it started, and get it started straight away. I'm going to be using different batting in both of these. For my more character quilts, it depends on it, but I like to use a polyester, a thick polyester batting in the middle. Quilters all have their own views on batting. Everyone has their own opinions on it. I'm not old school. I'm a new quilter, or a modern quilter if you like. So for me it depends on how it feels and how it looks. So the teapot one, I think I'm going to be using what I would normally use, which is a poly cotton blend, which is an 80-20, 80% cotton, 20% poly. It's a nice hefty weight to it, so it makes the quilt really heavy, because generally these are used either by children or bought for children, or along those sort of lines. I mean, obviously an adult can have it. I tend to use the slightly lighter, because the polyester is thicker, so it looks thicker, but it's so much lighter than the poly cotton. So I'm going to be using that. I think that's my plan of action. So it will make it a little bit of a puffier quilt. And they always look really cute. The one in my last video you would have seen, which was, in fact, I think maybe all of those that you saw in the last video were made with the polyester batting. The last one was a poly cotton batting, which was the cow quilt, which was the one I sold at the Kent County show. So that so that was the heavyweight one. The ones were lighter weight, but they all look so beautiful when they're quilted up anyway. They look completely different. When you look at a quilt top, it looks, you know, it's all right, it's okay, it's nice, it's pretty, it looks the same as all the others, as my partner would say, but once it's quilted up and the binding is on, it's like a different thing altogether. I love the sandwich of it together, to look at it, and then the quilting's done, it just transforms it completely, and that's when the fun begins. So yeah, lots of things to be cracking on with, so I'm going to get on and do that. If I can record some bits, I will. We'll see how we go, but yeah, I'll see you on the other side. So that's what I've been up to this week. Hopefully you found it of interest. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you come back, thank you so much. My last video was pretty long. My first video was pretty long, so this one is a bit shorter. So hopefully that will be good enough for everybody. Let me know if you prefer something a bit longer. It's easy enough to do. I do a lot of bits and pieces, so yeah, just let me know in the comments section below. If for any patterns and anything, as usual, I say as usual, this is my second video. It will be in the description box below, so you'll be able to find the patterns for all of the different quilts that I make. All of them will be noted there, just so that it's easy enough to find, and you know who all the designers and stuff are. There'll be the odd one that may be one of my own, so and in that case I will obviously make a note of that, but yeah, they'll all be noted below. But thank you so much for taking the time to spend some time with me today, and I shall let you crack on with your day. You take care now. Bye bye.